Hi, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your February 20th to the 28th, 2022 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Aquarius, February 20th to the 28th, 2022, Aquarius. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. 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 At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The top, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the moon, which is Pisces energy. So if we're born on the cusp with Pisces or have Pisces in our chart, that comes through very powerfully here at our root. And then we have temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. So if we have Sagittarius within our natal chart, that comes through at our root. There's a balancing of fear that's coming forward during this time, a looking at things and a finding a harmony where there was once only chaos. So that's going to be something that it doesn't have to be chaos. Spirit is saying, it doesn't have to be chaos. It can also be the sense of disharmony, discord, like what I'm seeing isn't matching up to what I feel. There's starting to be a balancing of that energy coming forward. And that's going to be something that really does help propel us to the next level. It moves us to our inner self. And then we have the Seven of Wands. There's a sense of I always have to be on guard. That's because we don't feel stable in the structure for which we've built forward in. So it could be something at work where we're sitting there and it's like, okay, things aren't going the way that I wanted them to, or there's backstabbing going on. I always have to defend myself. It's draining us. It is draining us in a really real way. It could be at home too, where it could feel like, okay, I don't have people on my side, or I don't feel connected. There is something where I feel this more at work though, where it's like, I always have to be on guard. I just always have to be on guard. And because we're always on guard, that's it. Because we're always on guard for so much of the time of the day, it's bleeding into everything else. It's running into everything else. So do be aware of that. It moves us to our inner self, our next inner self, which is the Eight of Swords. And it has us paralyzed. It really does. It makes us doubt the way that we can move forward, what we're looking at, what we're looking towards. And so it's really made us just want to stop. Like, it's kind of like being a bunny rabbit. When prey comes near, bunny rabbits, stop. They just freeze and then they'll run away. But sometimes, it's just too late, So here, Then we have our emotional self. It's the Nine of Wands. We're tired. We're tired, we're overwhelmed, we've had enough. This can actually give us headaches. It can give us muscle aches, or our muscles can just be so tight that, it's just overwhelming. This is a time where if you want to go to a masseuse, like go to a masseuse, get acupuncture, do stretches, do yoga. Something to release the tension in our muscles is going to be so important. Making sure we're drinking enough water, making sure we're getting enough nutrients in our body. That's going to be really important to us because we're drained. We are just simply drained. And it brings us to the High Priestess. There's an awakening that comes. It's like, oh, I see things so much more clearly than I have seen them before. Is it scary? Yes. Is it overwhelming? Absolutely. Is this a positive way for us to be moving forward? Yes, it definitely is. It brings us then to our public arena self, and that is the world. The world is opening up to us. There is a new way to move forward. There is a new passion guiding us, and that's going to be very powerful. The sense of my world is opening. I am opening to my world. I am moving forward in this very distinct way. And then it brings us to the Magician, which is standing before the altar of our existence, claiming what we want. There's a severe sense of, I'm stepping back into my power. I'm claiming my power once again. So let's look at our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. It's the Death card. It is, there are secrets. We're not getting always the full story, and sometimes we just never will, and that's going to be something that we have to accept. Like, somebody isn't going to tell us everything. They always have their secrets. To know that about that person is going to be like, okay, I'm not getting the whole truth, that's fine, type of thing, but know when to trust people and know when to walk away. It's also going to be very hard because we're going through a transformation, and we're going to kind of want to stop it, and Spirit's saying, don't stop it. Let yourself transform. Let yourself step forward. Not in a negative transformation, but in a very positive, like, this is what I love, this is my brilliance, this is my glory, this is who I am type of thing coming forward. But be very mindful of the lies, and be very mindful of people who want us to stay stuck, who want us to stay, just stuck and overwhelmed. It moves us to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And this is angels and masters. This is angels and divinity. This is the soul star chakra, located 6 inches above our crown. This energy is healing us. It's guiding us. It's moving forward with us. And that is opening up new doors. That is leading us forward in a way that is really quite surprising, beautiful, overwhelming at times, but definitely, what our heart has been longing for. And we sit here, we're facing fears. When we have the moon come in, the moon is the spotlight. The moon is a spotlight on how we want to move forward, on what we desire, but also shadows during the full moon are very, very much a part of what we see, in the way that the leaves move, in the way that the, animals flying overhead, or scurrying through the bushes, look during this time, makes everything so much more intense, makes it a little bit spooky, especially if we have a cloudy day or a windy day like it is here outside. And it can just be overwhelming. So here we're looking at the shadows. We're looking at the hidden things. We're looking at when the imagination starts kind of getting away with itself. We're looking at what we fear and why we fear it. And that becomes something that's very important for us to see and very important for us to understand. So as we look at our fear, we start to acknowledge, what is holding us back, how we want to move forward, where it is what we don't want to be, what it is that we do want. We start to embrace a confidence within ourselves as we're conquering the shadows, conquering the shadow within ourselves, kind of like the darker element of what we can be drawn to, but also the shadow within our world, and saying, what, I'm not jumping to conclusions with things. I'm not, kind of telling tales. I'm embracing this sense of power and an instinct and determination forward. And that's bringing us into a place of balance. That's bringing us into a place of harmony. And so we're going to kind of feel a little bit shaky because we do have so much that we're contending with during this time, but it's also bringing us a sense of how strong I am. So it's our subconscious and our conscious coming together. It's what we want to accomplish and what we dream of, or what we are accomplishing coming together. It's our waking world, it's our spiritual world, and we're really finding the harmony within us and what we're looking for and what we're looking towards. It leads us to the 7 of Wands, and the 7 of Wands is this energy of, I have to fight. I have to fight. I have to keep my ground. I have worked so hard for this that if I don't keep fighting, I'm going to lose. Everything's going to fall apart. That is such a draining place to be. That is a place that if we stay there too long, it just runs us into the ground. And that's going to be something we need to be aware of during this time. That our initial reaction, because we have been in this fight or flight kind of mentality, or we've just been in the fight mentality, I'm going to stand my ground, I'm going to move forward, I can't back down, because we're fighting, that flying away mentality, that running away mentality that we also have, because our, lizard brain, our primate brain, quite frankly, has either you fight for what you want, or you run away because you have to save yourself. Our world has so many different, it has so many different travesties to it, or traps to it, that our ancient world didn't. It was much more straightforward. But as we have evolved, the people that we're fighting against, they're not going to be as straightforward. They're going to be the people who smile to your face and try to stab you in the back. They're going to be the people who send you emails or anonymous messages, or, who try to stop this and that, and yet they're not outwardly fighting us. They're doing it behind the scenes. And that is so draining. The person who smiles when the boss is around and makes it look like, you're just complaining, but when the boss isn't there, they make your life absolutely terrible. This is kind of what we're going through. And what we're seeing is that if I'm always on the fight mode, if I'm always having to be on guard, it drains my energy, it drains myself. How can I get myself out of this situation? For some of us, it isn't running away. It's finding a new job. It's embracing our own betterment for ourselves. Or it's, it's taking a stand, and it's saying, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is how I need to move forward. I'm not going to be fighting all the time, and I'm going to put myself first. And we have this energy of the Eight of Swords where we just feel paralyzed. We doubt ourselves so much, we get into our own heads so well that it's going to be like, oh, I can't do that, I can't possibly do that. Now we need to start breaking ourselves free. We really do. We need to start to say, I am freeing myself, I am moving forward, I'm not over worrying, I'm not constantly doubting myself. I'm looking at the doubts and the fears that are around me, but I'm not living in that place of fear, in that place of stagnation. We all know people who do. People who have experienced a heartbreak, a pain, a disappointment, an absolute devastation, and they stay there for the rest of their lives. And it's just that played over and over and over again in their heads. We deserve better. We do. We do deserve a life that is better than that is better than mental trappings. And so here, when we're having to fight, when we're having to look at things, we can look at things very practically and logically and make a pros and cons list and say, why am I still fighting? What am I fighting for? How do I move forward? How do I embrace what I desire in my life? And then we have the Eight of Swords coming in, and we start to say, I am free. I am free, even though at times I feel like I have to fight for that freedom, even though at times I doubt that I can move forward in that freedom. And the Nine of Wands is this energy of just being overwhelmed. It's like, I'm done with this. And that's why we have, and again, it can give you the headaches, it can give you the full body pain, massages, acupuncture, yoga, stretching, just simple stretching, or using a back massager might be a fantastic thing to help loosen the muscles, and will be a fantastic thing to loosen the muscles, to get ourselves, in alignment, to see what it is that we desire as we move forward. And it brings us to this place where, oh, now I know what I want. Like the veil is lifted. The veil is lifted, and it's not like, oh, this suffering, this hurt, this pain, this is what I always have to go through. It's like, no, now I see myself more clearly. Now I see what I desire more clearly. And this is all about kind of taking a stand. It's not doing so in an outwardly aggressive way. We're actually being told to be very mindful of outward aggression, because we can feel so trapped and so overwhelmed and so just about everything, just that sense of, oh my gosh, how do I move forward from this? But when the high priestess comes in and the veil is lifted and we see what we want in our hearts, what's really important to us, what we desire, it's like, oh, okay, I see this more clearly. It can be that we're not as emotionally invested at work anymore. And it's a job. It's a job that pays the bills. It gets things done, and we start moving forward from there. It can be that we're not, we're trying very hard not to interact with that person, or we're looking at new opportunities to move forward, new ways to kind of break free. And whatever it is, it's also coming home and doing something that we enjoy, doing something that makes us smile, doing something that brings beauty into our lives, because we're starting to see ourselves without all the hummer excuse me, without all the malarkey around us. And we're starting to say, this is what I need in order to move forward for me. This is what's important to me. This is what isn't. We're also looking at people, and we're seeing them not with the mask that they want to portray to the world, but with who they truly are. And it brings us to the world. It brings us to then finally our world opens up, and it's like, yes, I'm moving forward. I'm going after what I want. And it says here, reward, success, completion, reward, success, completion. We have completed what we need to complete. We are being rewarded. We are opening up the door. We're seeing what we desire. We're looking at what is important to us. And that becomes the game changer. That becomes the thing that we're like, yes. And as that door opens, it's a door that we didn't expect. It's a way to move forward that we hadn't thought about. It could be, moving states or moving countries, or, looking at things in a way that was just so different or than we ever expected, or moving into some place maybe a little bit more rural than we are in now. And it can become the sense of, I never thought of this before. Like, this is a whole new world. This is a whole new way of being. But this is for me. And this is what I need. And it doesn't have to be anything like moving at all, but it's just the sense of this door is opening. I'm picking up that pen. I'm writing that, that letter, that book, that piece, that poem that I've wanted to. I'm, going outside. I'm taking the pictures. I'm making the films that I wanted to. I'm coloring. I'm, drawing. I'm sketching the way that I've been drawn to. And that opens up a whole new world. It's also making sure that we're not weighed down by the endless, kind of battles that happen around us, that they don't become the only thing that we see. It moves us then to the magician. And here it says power in action and skill, power in action and skill. We stand before the altar of our existence, now in the public arena, saying, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, these are my gifts, this is my talent. Nobody knows from the public arena here, nobody knows the inner turmoil. Nobody sees that we are, having this battle and we have these insecurities and we're not as sure and we feel stuck and overwhelmed and always on guard. People are going to see us as absolute go-getters, absolutely as people who are, breaking down barriers and embracing what is truly desired within our lives. And so we're not going to get the sympathy that we want. We have to be very aware of that. We're not going to get the sympathy, the love, the caring that we sit there and think, well, can't they see I'm in pain? No, they can't. They can see that you're on your way to greatness. You're on the way to power. You're on the way to beauty. And that's just going to be what people see during this time. We have to see it. The catch is we have to see it, Aquarius. All right, so let's look at the energy to be mindful of. The Lord. Yeah, we have to be mindful about being bullied during this time, about authoritative powers coming in and saying, this is the way you will do it. This is the only way that it can be done. That's it, period, end of discussion. So be mindful of that. We have our subconscious chakra energy. It's spiritual awakening. It's the crown chakra. We have greater knowledge than we think. We have greater understanding than we even know. Let us use it. Let us awaken to it. Our subconscious chakra energy, our subconscious rooted energy is the Empress. We are giving birth to something. We are creating something within this world that sets us apart. And it doesn't mean that it has to make us famous or everybody knowing our name or we have X amount of followers or anything like that. It means that we start letting out our power, our gift, our, connection into the world. And it's what we were put here for. And as long as we're doing what we are put here for, that becomes the game changer. That becomes the thing that it's like, oh, I was put here to make, chocolate chip cookies with my kids, with my grandkids, with my nephews, with my nieces. I was put here to help at the animal rescue. I was put here to, make people laugh or just to bring smiles by remembering people and asking about their day. We tend to think that the little things aren't important, but the beauty of life is made at the little things. And so why do we ignore them? Our subconscious inner self is the devil. We have to be very, very careful of being mesmerized by what we think we should be having, how we think we should be moving forward. That's also causing part of the trauma drama that's going on here, the doubts and the fears and the chaos, because it's like, but this is what's supposed to be making me happy. This is what everybody says makes you happy, makes you successful, makes you prosperous, makes you powerful, and it's not working for us. And so this is saying, I'm breaking the chains that bind me. I'm breaking the chains that have me kind of mesmerized, under the spell of the vampire, here, where you just think, oh, that's the right way. That's the way I'm supposed to be moving forward. And if you go off, the tried and true path, you forget who you are, or you're not embracing the right way forward. And what Spirit is saying here is like, no, that's not true. It's not true at all. Break the chains and see who you are. Break the chains and see what you're becoming. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self, and it's the Page of Pentacles. Here we become a student of our prosperity, of our wealth, of our abundance, of what we need, of what we want, but we're also connecting with a younger energy. This could be a person who is young, this could be a child, this could be a person who has it's an innocence to them, which we might think is bad, but they have a innovative way of looking at the world. They're not going to be as held back as others are. We also have to be very mindful of people who are young and reckless with money, don't fully understand the impact of their spending, or don't fully understand the impact of what they're doing to decrease money. So just be aware of that. But there is a really sense of power here of how am I moving forward? How am I planting these seeds? How am I being inspired by this person who has these kind of fresh eyes, has this exuberance to them? It moves us to our subconscious inner self, public arena self, not inner self, public arena self. And it's the Hermit. And it says here, healing, solution, inner work. And that's why it was the inner self, came through so powerfully, because there is such a sense of, this is the light that guides me forward. And we meet ourselves. It's almost like as I turn inward, I see me. I see me in a time that I hadn't thought I would see me. So when we turn inward and we see ourselves and we look at what we desire and we come kind of face to face, even with the child that we once were, that could be very much where the subconscious, Page of Pentacles comes in, where we look at our heart and says, what makes you prosperous? What makes you, bountiful? What brings you what you desire? And that could be just a loaded question that we don't know how to answer in this time period. But what we're going to find is that we start to realize, we start to get dreams that are guiding us forward. We start to, be pulled in one direction or another direction, or we start to get called back to things that used to really just ignite our soul and our passion and, our instincts forward. So looking at that, turning inward, seeing ourselves, that's going to be very important for us. There's also going to be some sort of wisdom that comes our way, something that we read or that we hear that makes us pause, that makes us stop, that makes us look inwards even more. Okay. All right, Aquarius. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power that is us, and as we stop the fighting. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aquarius.